Hi ladies, it's Mel again from Metalix. I'm going to be your artist for this week. You've seen me do a few art programs up till now, and today I'm going to do a little tree of life, which is this one. We're going to hang it on some beads, and we're going to hang some beads from the bottom, and I'm going to show you just general wire wrapping and beading. In your kit as well, you will also have an extra piece of wire with some beads. I'm going to show you at the end of the video. I'm just going to show you some basic bead wrapping, and you can try it on your own, or you can find some YouTube videos, or just see what you can do with the beads. I'm not going to do another program. So you have a rolled piece of wire in your kit. It's about 3 meters of wire. You're going to undo it, and you're going to fold it in half. This is already folded in half. So we're going to fold it once in half. Then I'm going to fold it a second time. Okay, so now you have 4 strands. I'm going to fold it a third time. You now have 8 strands, and you're going to fold it a final time. So what you're going to do with this wire is you're going to cut it with these wire clippers. The wire cutters has a flat bit on the one side, and on the bottom is a little cutting area. So you're just going to go right into your piece of wire and snip it. Okay, so just the top pieces where the loops are, you're going to cut the loops so that they're straight, and then turn it over and do the same to the other side. There we go. Do all the loops, and then we will straighten it out with the straightened side of the cutters. There we go. All loops done. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with these loops, I'm going to take the flat part of the wire cutters, and I'm just going to straighten the wire out. So I can use my fingers, and I can use the wire cutters, not the cutting side, just the flattened side, just to pull them straight a bit, turn it round and do the same to the other side. If they aren't all exactly the same length, it's absolutely fine. We're going to be wrapping it around the bracelet. Okay, so we're just straightening it out. Okay, there we go. I'll now focus on my hands, and you'll see the rest from the table. Okay, I'm back. Right. So I'm going to focus on my hands now, so you're not going to see my face. I'm just going to do as if I'm making one of these trees. So in your little kit, you'll have a bangle. I'm using a blue one for the purpose. You have probably a silver-looking one. So if you take your wires, you're going to twist it about a third of the way down. A third of the way down in this wire is about here. So there's 1/3, 2/3, and the last one. So I'm going to take my pliers, not the cutting side, just the pliers, and I'm going to hold and twist. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So it's just a general twist. So we're going to keep it like this for the moment, and splay these out. So they need to be made into about, let's do 6 sections, okay? I'm going to open it out. That's sort of 2 areas. I might make it into less. I'm going to have a look. Yeah, 6 will be good. So 2 or 3 in each one. So 3 in there. 3 pieces in here, and I'm going to twist it together. You can use the pliers if you want to. Twist them together. There's another one. I'm going to go for 4, not 6. There's the second one. Twist, twist, twist. Not to the end, just halfway down. Okay. I'm going to see if I can make 5, because then it'll be sort of even. I've got 3 in there, twist it. Okay, that's twisted. I'm going to do a 4th one and a 5th one, so there we go. It doesn't matter how many pieces of wire are in here, just try not to let all this fall out. If this is all fallen out, which it has, just retwist it. Okay. Okay. So I need to twist these together. Just a few times, it's just going to wrap around the bottom of the bangle. Okay. Okay. So I've got, just take this away. I've got 5 sections. This one's together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And each of these are twisted using the pliers, okay? Twisting, twisting. And then I've also got the little tree stump, which is only about 2 centimeters big. It's about 1 inch big. And it's twisted together, all of them together. So this is what we're going to be doing. These 5 are going to go here. Okay. Then there's the little tree stump. And then we're going to do the rest. Now I'm going to get on to the next stage. The next stage is dividing this into 2. That's all it's going to be, dividing it into 2. And we're going to take our pliers and we're going to go 1, 2, say 3, and another 1, 2, 3. It doesn't have to be even. Okay, so now we're going to take our bracelet, our bangle, and we're going to take with this little thing about 2/3 down. Okay, 2/3 down. And we're going to take this wire and wind it around the bangle. Wind it around the bangle and use your pliers to push any little sharp bits. Okay? Push any sharp bits down. Don't stick on your fingers. Okay, so there's one. So just remember this is 1, 2, 3/3 down. Okay, we're just going to put the second one in. Wind it around the bracelet, the bangle. Okay, and use your pliers to clip in any of the little, you're just squashing them in so that there are no sharp edges. Okay, and you do the same for the others. Maybe I'm going to do one up here. Maybe I'm going to, okay, I'll do it from here. If you can't get this in, and just turn it as if you're sewing. Just use the wire to pull it through, bend it round, and push it through the little gap again. Okay. Okay, what I'm going to do with this, I'm just going to turn it over and I'm just going to cut this little sharp piece off. Okay, just going to push the wires down, then do the same with the next lot. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm just going to use this to go through the wire again. going to turn it upside down so you can see what I'm doing from here. Okay, take my pair of pliers and I'm squashing it so that there are no edges. I can wind it round with my pliers as well. Okay, so I'll take the last one and I'll do that again. I'm taking the edge and I'm sewing it through. Sewing through the hole and pull it and round the other side. Okay. So now I've put all 5 strands on the bottom. Those are the roots. Okay. In our little tree that we had some roots over here. Okay, these are curly roots because we're going to take our pliers. I'm going to bend them just a little bit. Those roots aren't all straight. Just going to bend them with my pliers. There we go. Okay, so I have some roots. Now we're going to start forming the branches of the trees. So this is in half. I split this in half, twist it a little bit on this side, twist it a little bit, and now I'm going to open them out. Okay. I'm going to open them into more branches. I'm going to open these into 2 more branches, or 3 branches, however many you want. So we're going to do this, 2 branches, then I'm going to twist it a little bit again, twist with the pliers, just 2 or 3 times, and that one 2 or 3 times. I'm keeping it flat, but you can turn the bangle if you want to. It's easier turning the bangle. So I'm going to do these ones as well. Okay. And that one too. Okay. So now I've got a few tree branches. Now make sure that all your wrapping has gone around from the top to the bottom. Make sure that the same happens when we wrap branches around the top. We don't go underneath, otherwise we've got... I'll show you an example with no beads in it. Okay, so this is all wrapped over this way, so it's all wrapped over the top. These are all wrapped over the top. This is the back. The back shows the wrappings the other way. Okay, so this is the front. It's all wrapped from here underneath. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to divide my branches in half again, and I'm going to add a bead onto it. So the bead can go through the one. If this one has there we go. So the one bead is here, and I've beaded it, then I wrap. As soon as I've beaded, I wrap this around the bangle. So you can do it quite tight. Okay, and every time we wrap, we squeeze the little piece so that there's no sharp edge. Squeeze it with the pliers so there's no sharp edge. Here's your next branch. You can either keep it as 2 together, or you can put beads on each one. I'm going to put beads on each one. So here's one. Okay, and I'm going to wrap around again, wrap around the branch. Okay, and then at the edge, I've got to tuck that little end under so that it's not sharp again. Okay, then your third one, sometimes there's like a space here that maybe a bead wouldn't fit in, but it also might do. I'll try another bead. Here we go, the bead fits in that space. So I take this again and I wrap it round. Of course I can't wrap it round properly, so I'll have to sew it in like this, as if I'm sewing. Tuck the piece of wire in and pull it through. Okay, tuck the piece of wire and pull it through. There we go. If it gets quite difficult to pull through, you can always use your pair of pliers and tuck it in like that if your hands aren't dexterous enough. Sorry, my phone's pinging in the background. Goodness. Okay, I've unscrambled these a little bit. So I'm going to start here so that I can fill in gaps. So I'm going to open this wire a bit, and we'll do 2 and 2. So I'll put a bead on this, on each wire there. Put one bead on here and one over there. Let's go green. You have a mixture of colors, ladies, so just sort of even it out when you put all your colors. Make sure they're different colors on each one and it'll all look good. Okay, so I'm just going to fold all the wire in here. Push it up a bit. I'm going to fold this, wrap this one. Okay. Pushing my wires in. There we go. So my tree looks even now. So the branches, so there are some branches there. And my tree's kind of even-ish. Okay. So this one I'm just going to put on these two. I'm going to put it on two together. I'm just going to clip it here at the top so that they can both go through the same bead. There we go. So 2 beads, 2 pieces of wire through 1 bead. Okay, and now I'll start filling in the little gaps. Now there's enough for both beads to go on here. Okay, there's one. And dark blue maybe, purple. I've put 2 on one branch, but that doesn't really matter. Wrap it a bit. If you can fit 2 beads on one branch, you can. Not all we won't use all the beads. Okay, and my last one with 1 bead on. Let's see what color. Maybe a dark blue to fit in with the rest. There we go. And wrap the last one. Also when we're wrapping, because I'm doing a blue bangle, you're sort of seeing the blue and you're seeing the wrappings, but when you do a silver bangle you won't really see, look, you won't really see all the wires around there. At the moment it's not too bad looking, but you can see if the wires are untidy, then you can see them. Okay, so my wrapping's quite untidy, but you won't see it on the silver bangle. Okay, so I'm going to do my last 2 beads. Just sort of checking the colorings. Maybe a blue one up there. And just wrap it quickly before I put the other one in. Okay, and my last one, which can be a purple one probably, because I don't have enough there. There we go. Okay, so I do my last wrapping here. So that's more or less wrapped. Now also if you want to make the tree stumps, the tree branches, if you want to make them a little bit angled, because tree branches are all organic, they're not very straight. So if you want to bend them a bit, you can do that with your pliers. Okay, so there's my tree. So that's from the front. Okay, so now that tree's finished, and now we're going to put some, and now I'll show you the last bit of bead. Okay, so this is now the last step. So I haven't used all my beads. I don't have to use all my beads, but if you wanted to put more on, like that branch could probably fit 2 or 3 beads on, that probably could fit 2, but then it's quite crowded. So I prefer it when it's sparser like that. Okay, so now you have a big bead like this in your pack, and you also have a bead cage. Now what we do with our bead cage is we kind of open it. I'm going to open it and push this bead inside. Okay, so the bead goes in the bead cage. So that's just an added embellishment that's going to hang off the bottom of the beading. So now you have a little bit more wire. And you have a smaller thing of wire here, which I'm just going to it's probably a meter of wire, so you can probably use it however you like. I'm just going to cut a piece off and show you. Okay, it doesn't have to be a specific length, but I'm just going to fold it in half, squeeze it on the top, and I'm going to find the top of my bead, the top of my tree, and the bottom of my tree, and that's where I'm going to hang this bead. So I'm going to put this loop through here, and I'm going to put both pieces of wire through the loop. Okay, and I'm just going to pull it. So that makes a strong hold. Okay, makes a strong fixing. Then I can add some beads onto here to go down at the bottom. Just remember they fit through both pieces, so I'm just going to put them through both pieces. I'm going to put one bead. I'm just going to put them sort of 3 or 4 beads on, putting them through both pieces of wire, if I can. Most of these beads should have a large enough hole to go through both. But I'm trying hard here, but it's not. There we go. You can always use the pliers to pull it. It's gone out of colour now. I've done 2 pinks, I'll do 2 purples again. Okay, I'm going to do 1 more purple, and then I'm going to add the bead cage on. Okay, so that's a nice long, that's on the bottom, remember. So I've still got to do the top. So on the bottom, I'm just going to add, the bead cage has got a little loop. I'm just going to add the wire through the loop. And there you are. Pull it up. Then I'm just going to wind the wire through the loop. There's a little loop at the bottom. Just going to push the wire through, all the way through. You can use your pliers for help if you, because the pliers, you can just pull it through with the pliers. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to do that again so that it's quite tight. Push it through the loop again. And use your pliers to help you along. So you can push it through with the pliers. And then I can pull the excess piece of wire. Okay, so that should be quite tight. So what I'm going to do is just wind this extra piece around here a little bit. 1, 2, in 3 pieces. That should be fine. And then I'm going to cut it off. Cut it off, and just remember where we cut it's always going to be a sharp bit, so we use our pliers to push it down. Okay. So there's our bead cage, and it hangs on the end of the tree. And now we're going to do a loop at the top so that it can hang, and I can put 1 or 2 beads on the loop as well. So I'm going to take a piece of wire again, just out of your excess piece of wire that you have there. I'm going to use not bigger than that because I'm not going to make a big hanging piece. So bend your wire in half. Okay. Find the middle of your tree. There's the bottom of the tree. There's the top of the tree, which will be in between those 2 beads. So there I put this wire, the loop through here. There's the loop. I'll open the loop out. Open the loop out. And I'm going to put these 2 pieces of wire through the loop and pull them. Pull hard. And if you can't get it through with your fingers, use your wire cutters to pull like that. So there we go. So now you've got a bottom piece and you've got a top piece. So what you can do on your top piece, you can, just going to make these even. And I'm going to add a few beads again. There's some purples at the bottom. I'll add purples at the top as well. It will go through. It should go through both pieces. If it doesn't, just find a bead with a bigger hole. It's not working well for me today. It's getting there slowly. There we go. Okay. So you've got quite a few beads on top here, so I'm not going to add too many. So we'll go for about 3. I'll just put all blue. So that's all I've got. It's all that's here really. Put a turquoise. Okay. So I'll just use 3 on the top and all those on the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to make a loop. I'm going to make a loop, and I'm going to tie the loop around here. So I'm going to make a loop, and I'm just going to twist it, twist it, twist it. You can use your pliers to bring all the little sharp bits in. Okay. There we go. There's your loop with your beads, and there's your little hanging bead. Okay. Okay, ladies, that ends the tree workshop, and now I'm just going to show you a little bit about beading with wire. We're going to use 2 thicknesses of wire. You've got 2 extra pieces of wire. We've got the rest of this piece that we've been using to, for the loops and the hangy bits. We've got the rest of this wire, so we're going to use that, and we're going to use the piece of copper wire to bead on, and you've got some extra little beads in there. So I'm not going to give you a full workshop, but I'm just going to show you how to bead, and then we'll go from there, and then you can do your own little thing. You can make a flower, you can make just to try and bead on there, or you can add some extra beads onto here, or whatever you want to do. So that's just the little bit extra. Okay. Okay, so ladies, we're back on this again. This is our second little piece. So all I've given you is a tiny piece of thick wire, which I'm going to keep in a sort of circle shape. Well, I'm actually not. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to wind this. It's quite easy to bend this wire. So this wire, in the little, I'm just going to bend it straight from the circle. I'm just going to bend it into a spiral. Okay. Just going to bend it into a spiral. we go. It's quite nice bendy wire, so we're going to just make it into a spiral shape. Then we're going to take a piece of this wire, and I'm not going to show you a huge amount of beading. Just going to show you the basis of adding beads to a piece of wire, which I'm going to do over here. So I'm just going to start wrapping the wire like we did before, just around. I'm going to make this piece wider, wrapping it, wrapping it, wrapping it. And when I've wrapped a piece, then I'm going to add a bead. Just going to make this straight on the other end. I'm going to add a bead. Okay. And I'm going to hold the bead into position, and I'm just going to wrap around again. So wrap. I've wrapped this side of the bead. I'll wrap that side of the bead as well. Okay. Then I'll go on a little bit, 1, 2, 3, say, and I'll add another bead. Okay. So I'm keeping the beads on this side of the wire, and I'm just wrapping the beads. I'm wrapping the wire this side of the bead, and I'm wrapping the wire that side of the bead. So each side of the bead. So I'm wrapping round and round, okay, each side of the bead. Then I'm just going to go around a few more times. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to add another bead on. Okay, push it closer together so that it looks like that. Then I'm going to wrap this side of the bead, and I'm going to wrap that side of the bead. Okay, so then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to bead again. So I'm keeping the beads in a line. I'm adding the next bead on. So it's just giving you some idea of what you can do with wire, and what you can do with beading wire, and there are all kinds of wrapping techniques. And if you have a look on YouTube, not on my YouTube channel, if you look on YouTube, you can just look up beading with wire, and you can see all kinds of different ways that you can do. So this is now my 4th bead. I'm going to wrap this side of the bead, and I'm going to wrap that side of the bead. Okay, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 again, and add another bead on. Okay, so you're making a whole line of beads. I'm going to go, remember, this side of the bead, that side of the bead, and wrap it again. And I haven't cut enough piece of wire to make a whole long bead, but I'll show you how to end it off when we start again. Okay, so there's your last. This will be the last bead on here. I'm going to just go either side of the bead, one this side, that side, and just wrap the rest of the wire around. So now just remember using your pliers to push in any little extra bits. Okay, so that side, that now has some beads. I can just straighten this out because it's quite easy wire to use. So I've just done that little thing. Okay, so you can use some more wire, and you can wrap some of the little beads, and you can carry on round if you want to. So in order to carry on beading, I'm just going to cut another piece of wire. I'm just going to start exactly where I was before, and I'm just going to wrap it round. Okay, so that's how you join it on. Okay, remember, tuck your edges in and add your beads again. One bead on, this side of the bead, and that side of the bead. Okay, and so you carry on. So then I'm going to just leave you with this, ladies, and you can you can carry on with your own beads, or if you've got some beads at home and you can do it, this is how you do it with wire. Okay, ladies, so that was that. So that's your little beaded tree of life, and that's your little introduction to beading with wire. And I hope that you take away some knowledge and maybe carry on some things at home if you have spare pieces of wire or beads or whatever hanging around your house. Okay, I hope to see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.